welcome to episode 12 of the MMG podcast. Once again, joined by my good friend, Gocubs 711.
When I say Hillshire, you say Farms. Hillshire.
Farm!
Go meet!
Forgot to join in the go meet there, so I guess I failed you. I apologize.
No, it's alright.
Oh, you know what? I love those commercials.
Oh, they were great.
Actually, you know what? I think I hated them, but now looking back at them, I love them. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, welcome back to our weekly football podcast. And it is now a quarter through the season for 30 teams. The Bucks and Dolphins obviously still behind, but that's okay. It's basically the quarter through the season at this point. And my goodness, so much has happened, from crazy upsets to unbelievable starts. I mean, in the bad way for some 2016 playoff teams.
Right.
And, we had the president involved with the league and calling out players and led to all these demonstrations. It's just been really wacky. It started out kind of slow, but it's just, at least in the last 2 weeks, just been unreal and a lot of fun. What would you say, Go Cubs, is your main takeaway through the first 4 weeks of the season?
My main takeaway is, and I'm trying not to get too excited, but this is a different league.
That's an interesting way to put it. What do you mean?
Well, so right now the AFC division leaders are the Steelers, which isn't that surprising. The Chiefs, which is kind of somewhat expected. The Bills and the Jaguars. And the Rams. And I know it's only week 4, but the Rams are also on top. The Lions are on top, and like almost undefeated. Like if that fucking play wasn't overturned,
right.
Like it's so, and the Eagles are on top. Like it's so different than last year. Than last year, it seems. And I'm not just talking about records, but just how the teams have been playing, and who they've beaten. Like the Patriots are 2-2. They lost to the Chiefs and the Panthers.
Yeah.
The Cowboys lost to the Rams. Like this isn't a normal year.
Yeah, and
at least at this point, that's how it feels.
Yeah, I feel like the NFL has always kind of prided itself on unpredictability, but I felt last year, as you know, and I guess in previous years it was kind of like this, but especially in 2016, I don't know, it kind of just felt like we were going through the motions of things. There was upsets here and there were some surprises here and there, but I think like the Lions and the Giants and the Dolphins, I would say, were like the 3 biggest surprise teams of that season to make it to the playoffs. But right now it just feels different. It feels like who you think should be playing well at this point is not, and who you thought was in a rebuilding year, or probably was just going to go through same term, but like going through the motions and just getting through another season, and it's going to be rough, but the future is bright. And specifically talking about the Rams and the Bills, who have looked awesome in the past few weeks, it's just been incredible. And it's not just that the teams are surprising, the games are just been like, especially in the last 2 weeks. Say again?
They've been fun to watch.
The last 2 weeks have been among my favorite weeks to watch in the NFL, just because it seems like almost every game comes down to the last final 3 minutes, 4 minutes in the game.
Yeah,
it's just incredible, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the chaos of it, and I hope it continues. I have always been. I mean, look, Team Chaos all the way, of course. But even if you don't want to have the chaos element in there, just the fact that there's new teams that come out and play really well and make this run to the postseason that we were not expecting, it's just fun. It
Yeah.
makes the league like bearable. And look, all those people out there that are now like boycotting the NFL for whatever it may be. I mean, some reasons justifiable, some not. You're missing out. It's just this is good. This is gonna be, if the last 2 weeks are any indicator, this is gonna be a very fun and interesting season to analyze. And I've had a blast to this point. Of course, a lot of this analysis is coming only in the last 2 weeks, but
Right.
I think you kind of need time to build into what a season can be, and thus far, so far so good, I think. Um,
I agree.
but before we could move on to week 5, we do want to go backwards and just talk a little bit about last week. And we're gonna start off with the Thursday night football game between the Bears and the Packers. And the Packers rallying up off a big win against their rival, breaking the series tie, the lifetime series tie, taking the league,
For the
taking
first
the lead.
time in a really long time.
Yeah, which I know that's probably heartbreaking for you, Go Cubs, but
At this point, it's not surprising.
I mean, I'm yeah. If I had to be honest, I don't mean to be mean here. I would think, considering how dominant the Packers have been in the series to this point, I was surprised it didn't happen sooner.
Yeah.
But
The Bears are actually decent in the mid 2000s. So
well, right, yeah. I mean, they had the Super Bowl run in 2005. Like, yeah, they've had a lot of strong teams in the past. This is just not one of them right now.
Nope.
But if there's any consolation for Bears fans out there, Mitchell Trubisky is about to make his debut.
It's time.
It's time. What was your thought process before? Because I know that you kind of were not. You kind of wanted to give Glennon a chance, but what made you change your mind?
So it's not that I wanted to give Glennon a chance. It was I didn't think it was a good idea to throw out Trubisky with a bunch of failing receivers.
Yeah.
And overall in offense that just wasn't that solid. But given that how many turnovers did Glennon give away in the first 4 games? Like 10.
It was a ridiculous
Yeah.
amount.
So 10 interceptions or fumbles in 4 games. That's an average of 2.5 interceptions per game. That is on Cutler levels of bad.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would argue.
so
I would argue right now that he's playing a little bit worse than Cutler,
much worse than Cutler.
but Cutler is not really having that fun in Miami
No.
either. We'll talk about that in a second.
We'll get to that. So yeah, I think at this point we know that we're not going to be able to salvage our season. So you might as well give him just experience.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one to start. I mean, luckily you're at home, but you're in prime time, and you're gonna be going up against a very good, or very well, pretty good, I would say, Vikings team. They're specifically their defense. And so that's gonna be a rough start. But I think it was time. I think it was time to just you saw that Glennon couldn't at least keep the season stable for them, so they had to move on to the rookie just to see what he would deliver. He had the best preseason out of all the rookies, so you have to maybe have some reassurance that maybe he could play well. Let's move on to the London game, the Saints at Dolphins, in Wembley, and this again, this was another rough game. Didn't in no way, shape, or form set the tone to what week 4 ended up being, but it was believe it or not, a defensive effort again by the Saints, who just completely shut out the Miami Dolphins, who in the last 2 games have scored all of 6 points.
Yeah.
Um, it's been a really rough start for Jay Cutler in Miami, and it's I don't know if it's gonna be looking up anytime soon.
Are you surprised? Did I not warn you about Jay Cutler?
You did, and look, I look at Adam
You
Gase.
thought.
Look, hold on. I look at Adam Gase as someone who is a very thoughtful coach, a very smart coach, and I figured that with him wanting to get Jay Cutler, that was his immediate move once Ryan Tannehill went down. I figured that he had a game plan for Jay Cutler, because you saw what Ryan Tannehill was last year, which was actually a pretty good quarterback. He did
Mm.
pretty well, and when Tannehill went down with injury last season, and Matt Moore stepped in, Matt Moore played pretty well in a few games as well. I figured that Adam Gase now had this system working where if you brought Jay Cutler in, that at least there could be some life to this Dolphins offense. But there really is not, and that's what's so unfortunate. It's really like there's just nothing happening on a team that has Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker, Julius Thomas,
Yeah.
Jay Ajayi. Like these are all great offensive players,
Super good players.
and
But no one to give them the ball.
nothing's working. And I don't really know what the solution will be. There are only kind of decent offensive showing was against the Chargers, and I don't know if that's going to be enough going forward. I mean, they may get a break this week against the Titans, who just gave up like 57 points.
Yeah.
But I
We'll
just
get to that.
I don't know. I do not know if the Dolphins could have a whole offensive bounce back. This seems dead right now.
Yeah.
All right, the next game that we will talk about is the Panthers at the Patriots, and
I
what a
have
game!
never been more happy to get a prediction wrong.
It was a quite the game where the Panthers got up big against the Patriots. The Patriots actually had to come back on the back of Tom Brady, but it came down to a last second field goal, and the Panthers ended up upsetting the Patriots in Foxborough, and the Panthers go to 3-1, and the Patriots fall to 2-2.
Yeah.
Um, you
What
know,
the hell?
I mean, I gotta say, the first of all, I mean, give the Panthers credit.
Keep pounding.
They seem Cam Newton seems like he's finally getting back in his groove.
God, I
He
hope
he
so.
looks for like really like pretty good against the Patriots defense, but again, it is the Patriots defense which has not, which apparently is historically bad this season. Just giving up way too much yards, way too many points, um, and it's just I gotta say, I want to say, all right, the Patriots should be worried. Patriots fans should be worried at this point. But I want to just
Can't
take,
say that.
I want to go back to 2014 and the first game of the Patriots 2014 season resulted in a loss on the road against the Miami. Uh, or it might have been in Foxborough, whatever it was. They lost to Miami. Then 2 weeks, they had 2 weeks of wins, and then they went to Kansas City and got their ass kicked. And it was 2-2. And after that game, Bill Belichick said, "We're on to Cincinnati." And from there, they went 12-2, or I'm sorry, 10-2 down the stretch, and kicked ass in the playoffs and went on to win the Super Bowl on a last minute play. And I don't think at this point, I feel like for what I remember 2014, that start to the Patriots was that Tom Brady wasn't really playing that well. He did not look great, and the defense was bad. This time around, the Warriors are is that the defense are bad. Tom Brady has been playing one of his best runs of his career in the last 16 games since the start of the 2016 season. He's been 38. He's thrown 38 touchdowns and 2 interceptions within 16 games between the last season and this season. I am not going to believe in the hype behind the Patriots being being not good. I can't. I don't think I refuse. From what I've seen in the past, it's just not it's not in my memory bank. I think this team could go 2-6, and I still believe that they can win the Super Bowl. I just this is not a team that I think is going to do poorly this season because they usually don't. Not with those two. Not with Belichick and not with Brady. That's just my view. But I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I don't think I can.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah, I just, and this is someone who's mainly a New York fan, has hated the Patriots a lot. I have a lot of respect for the Patriots, and because I have that respect, I can't say right now that I'm dancing on their grave or cheering on or anything because I just know I have that feeling in my stomach that it's just this is not going to end the way that things are occurring right now. This is not going to be the Patriots team this year. A team that everyone was saying was 16-0. I don't see that happening. Anyways,
yeah, we'll see.
I hope. I mean, hey, it would make it interesting if it turns out it was what we're seeing, but who knows?
Yeah.
Next up, the Jaguars at the Jets in a game that was. I mean, I don't really know what to say about this game. It was the Jaguars defense giving up rushing yards to Bilal Powell and Elijah McGuire, over 200 rushing yards. A defense that was supposed to be very good did not look good last week. Josh McCown still continues to play pretty, at least decent enough for this team, for the Jets team, to pull off an overtime victory over the Jaguars, and I don't even know how to feel about this one.
Aren't the Jets supposed to just lose everything?
I thought so. I thought the Jaguars defense was good. And this is I feel like we've gone every single Jaguars game wrong to this point. Because
what the fuck, dude?
It's literally I forget who made this joke, but it's literally like their helmets. One side is light and is dark, and just going back and forth between the two. It literally is that the Jaguars go from having these weeks where they look like one of the best teams in the NFL, and then you have these weeks where they look like what they have always looked like, and that's the Jaguars,
right?
And not a not very good team. And this was one of those weeks, especially against a Jets team that was not supposed to be at 500 at any point of the season, except for in the beginning when they're 0-0. It's just, I don't know, man. This is another game that just had confusion written all over it. And I guess as someone who roots for the Jets, I just don't know whether to be happy or not. I'm all right, 2-2, but when you're better than the Giants, I just don't know. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what the motives are, and what, I don't know. It's confusing.
I have no fucking idea.
It was it's another weird thing. I know that you said it earlier before the podcast, but the fact that the Jets are 2-2 and the Patriots are 2-2, if you were to tell me that before the season started, I would have probably laughed in your face, and I probably would bet that I would say that I would eat my shoe whole if it was at this point Jets were 2-2 and the Patriots were 2-2. I'd be washing out the taste of leather out of my mouth right now if I ended up making that bet. Um,
Yeah.
my goodness, weirdness all around. Can the Jaguars now, if things go back and forth now with the Jaguars, they can maybe upset the Steelers. Who knows? If they're gonna continue to play well on odd weeks and not so well on even weeks.
Yeah, I imagine if that's just the fucking pattern.
It would be weird. It would be a really strange 8-8 season for them. I wonder when their bye week is, because maybe they'll have be like 9-7 or something if they have like a even week off or something. Anyways, moving on. Oh my goodness, the Titans. Oh, by the way, I got that guarantee wrong. The
Yeah.
Jaguar. Yeah, that was second week in a row for that. Whoop de doo. That's not good. All right, Titans and the Texans. Uh, the Texans are insane.
I don't.
they
Yeah.
that was an incredible performance by Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans defense. Uh, Marcus Mariota did not look good. He went down with an injury, and we may not actually end up seeing him in Week 5. There's a good chance we will, though. I mean, we don't know for sure, but regardless, it was the highest scoring game in Texans history. Um, it was the first time a rookie quarterback threw for four touchdowns and then ran in for 2 touchdowns, I believe, in a game since I think Fran Tarkington, which was like back in the '60s, '70s, around there. That's just insane. Deshaun Watson, a rookie again, as I noted earlier, who did not really play that well in the preseason season. Out of like the four rookie quarterbacks that were drafted in the first and second round, he looked the worst. And now he is looking like one of the best draft picks in Houston Texans history.
He is the future of that franchise.
And I would like to just say that I feel like I've called it with him. I just thought I've always thought that Deshaun Watson was a star in terms of
I
like watching him back in college.
Yeah, when I saw him in the playoffs 2 years ago, when they lost to Alabama, I was like, this kid is gonna go to the NFL and do fucking amazing things.
Right.
And I really want to keep up with him and see what he does. And especially after all that he did in the win uh, that Clemson had last year, the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I just don't. I hope that this is not like an RG3 thing where he has an amazing rookie season and then kind of just falls apart. I would not like to
uh,
see that happen. He's just playing so well, and he's just been so much fun to watch. Um, and they get after losing narrowly to the Patriots in Week 3, blowing out their division rival Titans. They get the Chiefs coming up, and it's just gonna be interesting.
yeah,
Meanwhile, the Titans get the Dolphins, and maybe that's a little bit of a break for them after what they went through this week.
yeah.
Moving on, the Lions beat the Vikings yet again in uh, U.S. Bank Stadium. They just have this unbelievable ability to just beat the Vikings nonstop.
Yeah.
Like it's just not. It is a nonstop venture for the Lions. They're just not, they are becoming just underrated. I think the best team in the NFC because their offense is looking amazing, but they also have the fourth best scoring defense in
Uh,
the league. Like that's just insane. This team has just been so much fun to watch, and everything seems in control. Jim Bob Cooter, who runs that offense, is a potential head coaching candidate already. Like it is, I'm very excited for this Lions team. I hope they do end up
yeah,
winning the NFC North because at this Detroit the season, this Detroit city needs something like that. They need a little bit of a kickstart with the and just
who who would have guessed that in the fucking after 4 weeks that Detroit would be second in the NFL power rankings, only behind an undefeated team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the Lions are. I I was always of the mindset that the Lions were kind of just overrated on a lot of different levels, just because I just didn't think that the level of talent was there. Apparently, it is. They've
it
just been
is.
they've just been insane, and they're actually winning games and not like
And not coming back every quarter. Every
yeah, yeah. It's not like the usual like recipe. They're actually
yeah,
doing things, and I appreciate that very much. Um, and I mean, yeah, they're literally a loss away from being 4-0, or like a one play, one catch, little 1 inch
yeah,
away from a win. Like that's insane.
yeah.
Um, so moving on, hey, Team Chaos prevailed. The
I can't believe we got this one right.
Rams at the Cowboys ended up beating the Los Angeles Rams are also for real, and they beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys' offensive line is not what it used to be, and the Rams' defense is not what it used to be. But the defense ended up overwhelming Dak Prescott in a lot of ways, and the offense just played really well. Ended up coming back from being down a few points to the Cowboys and ended up sealing a victory.
Yeah,
It was just again just one of those. These are one of these teams that are just coming out of nowhere and really kicking ass. And Sean McVay, man, love him. I mean,
yeah,
I've been singing his praises, and because I think that he's just a fun head coach, a fun young head coach to have, or like just a little unorthodox what we're used to seeing, and it's just he's just been awesome, and that
I have a friend who's a Rams fan, and I asked him like or how the hell did that happen? Like the Rams winning, and his response was McVay is Bay.
it's true though, because he's turned around Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley has had an incredible season to this point, and he's turned around Jared Goff. They got a whole bunch of weapons for Goff as well. That offense is definitely among the best in the league. I think it's the top rated in scoring. I think it's number one in points per game.
Yeah,
Um, just great start in the Sean McVay era thus far, and they are for real heading into Seattle now. A big test for them. I'm gonna just try to run off these quick because we're a half hour in here. The Falcons lost their first game of the season to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo defense is for real,
yeah,
and Tyrod Taylor continues to make plays every single week. You know, while the Bills are scouting quarterbacks, seeing who could be the quarterback they feature, they can't just look who's on the field right now playing really well for them. It's a bit inconsistent at times, but it's still fun. And that another new Sean head coach, just really surprising people. The Bills were considered a rebuilding team, and now they are 3-1, and are staring
on
at
top of the division.
on top of the AFC East, and are staring at 4-1 if they can beat the Bengals. Uh, let's move on to the Steelers. The Steelers at the Ravens, blowing out the Ravens. Great defensive effort. The offense is still sluggish, but they got off to a nice start this past week, and they're really starting to look a little bit better. This is one of the more complete teams in the NFL. The Ravens, though, not so much. They're
What
reliable.
happened to the Ravens? They were so average last year, and now they're just shitty.
It was I think it's just Joe Flacco. He's not he was injured his back earlier in the preseason, and he's been able to start since week 1, but he has just not been playing that well at all. The running backs are not playing well,
Yeah,
and it's just been a mess for Baltimore all around. Just the offense specifically just not doing well. And I mean they have a good opportunity now next week to maybe rebound, but we'll see. The Bengals, oh my goodness, 31-7 beats the Cleveland Browns, and The Browns are staring at 0-4,
A lot
and
of
yeah,
Can I give my take on this
yeah,
game?
absolutely.
A lot of people, or I saw a lot of takes on how like, oh, Andy Dalton is finally starting to look like himself. Like these are uh, this is like the amount of talent that's on the Bengals. That's how bad the Browns are. Is that they made the Bengals look like a fucking super team.
Well, yeah, I mean, and look, in the past few weeks, though, I mean, it is worth noting that they fired their other offensive coordinator. They hired or they promoted Bill Lazor to the offensive coordinator position, and he in the past 2 weeks, the offense has looked good for the
Yeah,
Packers against the Packers and then against the Browns. So I don't necessarily want to blame the Browns completely on that, but then there's also the stats that the Browns are blitzing on 100% of the plays, and they're not really balancing out their defensive plays. They What's going to be good for the Browns is that next week they get Myles Garrett back, and if he is truly a number one overall pick, he has to be a game changer. And they have a very winnable game. I know the Jets are 2-2. They have a very winnable game against the Jets. So if Myles Garrett is for real, this is a game that they could absolutely topple. But we'll see what happens. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Buccaneers. This was Gocubs' guarantee.
Bylock. Yeah,
Yeah, he got it. He wins.
I almost didn't get it though. So
Yeah, it was close, but the Buccaneers won on a last-minute field goal. I've yet to go back and watch this game, but the Giants falling to 0-4, and it's their season's pretty much all but over at this point. I don't know how they're gonna come back from that, but the Buccaneers, they get a nice win. They're 2-1, and now on a short week are going to have to. Luckily they're at home, but they're gonna have to face a Patriots team that is going through a little bit of adversity right now, and you never want to face Tom Brady with adversity. So we'll see what happens with that team. Uh, you know, it should be a good game, but I don't know. We'll see. Cardinals beat the 49ers in a close one in an overtime game, and Larry Fitzgerald, another great game from him and a great final catch to end the game off, and another game that I have to go back and watch still, but this at least the Cardinals get to keep up a little bit with the Seahawks and the Rams. They don't fall into a hole with the 49ers. The 49ers, meanwhile, 0-4. Not a good start for the 49ers, but again, another rebuilding team, of course. Eagles with a nice win over the Chargers. Chargers just could not finish a game again, but the Eagles just looking great on offense, and they're just one of the more complete teams in the NFL again, with a pass rush that's been very suffocating, and the offense with as many weapons as possible. They're finally using LeGarrette Blount the right way. He's been running really well for them. This is just a really good Eagles team, and I'm very excited to see them going forward. Chargers, everyone's surprise team of the offseason, starts out 0-4, and it's going to be the loser bowl next week as the Chargers face the Giants in MetLife Stadium, a game in which I will be attending. You know what, honestly though, there's a part of me that's excited for that. Two teams that are desperate for wins battling against each other.
yeah,
And I'm looking forward to it. But I don't know what it is with this Chargers team, but they're cursed. They're just cursed to lose games in the final seconds in almost every chance they get. Like, they can never keep a lead, and it's not like this is just one coaching staff. This is now two coaching staffs that have dealt with this problem for the last 2 years. It's just, I just don't know how to explain it. I'm telling you, it's a curse, and I'm not very superstitious, but it's a little creepy. The Broncos get a nice win over the Raiders, a division rival. Broncos are now 2-0 in the division. Unfortunately, they cannot get into first place right now. We'll talk about that in a bit. But the Broncos are just really dominating on defense, specifically the rush defense, which has been a weak point for them. They're doing really well, containing all four running backs that they have faced us to this point to a combined 96 yards. Really good. Meanwhile, the offense did enough for them to beat the Raiders. Derek Carr is going to be missing a few weeks now with a back injury, very similar to the one that took Tony Romo out for a game. Very ironic that Tony Romo was calling that game when that injury happened. But the Broncos with the victory, Raiders fall 2-2. And that Raiders offense just is not looking as good as we all thought they were going to be. Sunday Night Football, Seahawks just dominate the Colts in the second quarter to win bigly over the Indianapolis Colts. And it's just the Colts, I just don't want to put any stock in this team.
Indianapolis isn't real.
They the Colts just a fromage, the Colts.
Did you say fromage?
Yeah, it's like cheese in French. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seahawks. The Seahawks are they're getting their offense back in groove. The defense is starting to make some more plays, and they're starting to look like the Seahawks of old. We'll see if that can remain consistently, especially now going up against a really good Rams team coming up next. Meanwhile, the Colts get the Niners next. Can they win that one? I don't know, but this team just, they started out pretty nicely, but it's I don't know. I just don't really have a lot of confidence in this team on either side of the ball, as long as Andrew Luck is not there.
I keep saying it. The Colts are out of luck this season.
Yeah. There's there's a rule in theater called the rule of threes, Gocubs, and
yeah. So I should only say a joke 3 times before it gets old.
Well, at least ones that I think everyone has heard from many people. Unfortunately,
I don't care. It's still funny.
Okay. You do you, Gocubs. All right, last game. Then we'll get to the picks. The Chiefs win a close one against the Redskins at their home turf, and the Chiefs are the lone undefeated team remaining 4-0, and that's significant because I remember back, I remember last season. I think the best someone did was 5-0, which was the Vikings.
Vikings were 5-0.
Yeah, Vikings were 5-0. But the season before, I remember there was like 5 or 6 teams that were 5-0. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now the Chiefs are all alone, sitting in sitting pretty on top of the AFC charts, on top of the NFL charts. And we'll see. They have a tough test in primetime next week against the Texans. The Redskins, meanwhile, 2-2, have looked really good on defense, and Kirk Cousins has made so many plays that I'm pretty high on this Redskins team despite just the 2-2 record. I don't know. I want to see what they can do. I mean, they have a bye this week, but I would like to see what they do against more of the division opponents, which they will get in a few weeks from now. Okay, before we pick, Gocubs' record is now 36-27. My record is now 37-26. We both picked 12-4 last week, which is our best record to date. Especially considering the chaos of this weekend, I would say that's a victory, quite the victory. And in terms of points now, I lost my guarantee, but I won Team Chaos, so my points just offset. But luckily for Gocubs, a win for Team Chaos, a win for your guarantee, and you get 2 points now to start building off of that. And now we are tied in terms of points for this.
Yes.
11 points altogether right now for each of us, or 11 each, and
It's happening.
it's happening. And
It's happening.
so we're going into this next week of picks. I'm looking forward to it. This should be a very interesting week now, as we're reaching mid-season at this point, and anything could happen. And we have a much better, but we kind of have a good idea of how teams will be, but at the same time, it's just been so unpredictable that we don't really know. And we're gonna start with what is going to be a very fascinating game, between the Patriots and the Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football. Now, the Patriots, as we said, they're coming off of a loss, and last time when they started 2-2 to start the season, they hosted the Cincinnati Bengals and absolutely dominated them, and the rest was history pretty much at that point. But now it's different. The Patriots are now not only 2-2, but they're also 0-2 at home. But now they get to hit the road all the way down to Florida, face the Buccaneers in primetime, who are 2-1, looking good on offense. They are going to need a little bit more help on defense, but this is a winnable game for the Buccaneers, believe it or not. Go Cubs! What do you think?
I want to pick the Buccaneers so badly, but at this point, I'm gonna pick the Patriots.
I think anyone that picks the Buccaneers right now you're sucking yourself in to the Patriots' demise, as I've talked about. You can't believe it, man.
I'm not gonna believe that the Patriots are out until they're mathematically eliminated.
That's essentially how you have to go about it, right? Because they're just superhuman in a lot of ways. And look, nothing against the Buccaneers, and I think they're going to be a fun team to watch this year. But I just don't. I think that when you face a team like the Patriots, I mean, this is coming off of no logic. If we're just talking about these two teams, if we remove the New England Patriots name off of this team, I'd probably be picking the Buccaneers. But it's the fact that Tom Brady has been playing as insane as he has been. He has kept his team in every single game that they have played to this point, except for maybe the first game. And the defense, it's going to be very, very tough to stop the Buccaneers offense. But I can't say right now that the Patriots can't have a game-winning drive and end up beating the Buccaneers. I feel like that's what's going to end up being the case. And I just think history's going to repeat itself. So I say the Patriots are going to win.
All
right. Moving on to Sunday, 1 p.m. on Fox. These Cardinals at the Eagles. What do you have to say about this game?
And I really like the Cardinals. Just in recent years, they've been really fun to watch. And Larry Fitzgerald is probably the greatest receiver who ever lived. But in terms of actually like how the team quality is this year, I don't think that the Cardinals just overall are that great of a team, and the Eagles are being surprisingly good. So I have the Eagles over the Cardinals, and this is actually my lock.
Hey, guess what? Double lock! Yeah,
Hey!
I picked this one as my lock as well, because I just see this card. It's just a mismatch to me with this game in particular.
Yeah.
Because I just think, it's gonna be very hard to stop the run against the Eagles, which is very surprising to say, because in the recent years it's been very easy for them. But they're coming off a really strong game on that front. They're also playing at home, and the Cardinals' offensive line is not good, and they're facing a really good defensive line. Everything is just not pointing in the Cardinals' favor. Would I be surprised if the Cardinals win? No, because everything's just been chaos lately. But I feel confident enough in the Eagles that I think we can lock this up, and I could say that they'll probably end up winning. So Nice. I enjoy that. I enjoy the fact when we double it up. It's very nice. I love
Yeah.
it. The Jaguars at the Steelers. And this is an interesting game. As we said earlier, the Jaguars are kind of back and forth. If they're going to go back forward, it's going to be a very tough defense that the Steelers are going to have to face. But the Steelers' defense is also pretty good, and I don't know if the Jaguars' offense is a huge threat to them. I don't know. Go, Cuss, what do you think?
So I think that the Steelers are a really shit team on the road, but at home they're a really good team. And with the fact that the Jaguars just lost to the Jets and have been so inconsistent, I don't think that this pattern is going to continue. The Jaguars might just be downhill from here. Uh,
Yeah,
I have the Steelers.
yeah, it was fun while I lost the Jaguars, but it ain't gonna happen. I'm going with the Steelers, which is a much more complete team overall. Titans at the Dolphins. Titans and Dolphins, both of them coming off of humiliating losses, looking for rebounds. Go Cubs, who do you have?
Sorry, you said that really fast. All
Oh, I'm sorry. Titans at Dolphins.
right. I was going back and forth on this one actually because the Titans played horribly against the Texans, and and the fact that Mariota's down is very concerning to me. But the Dolphins just don't have it together, like in any front it seems. So I think I'll still go with the Texans on this one.
Titans.
Titans, yeah.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me too. I considered a lot of things. Like, this is the first Dolphins home game that they're gonna have all season, to this point, and so I was like, okay, so maybe then they could get the victory there. But I just think that the Titans have a formidable enough running game
Yeah.
where I just feel like the Dolphins are just not going to be able to contain that. Um, it's tough. There's a good chance Mariota plays too, and then at that point, I feel like it really solidifies it. So I'm going with the Titans. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard for me to convince myself right now. Can the Dolphins again? Can the Titans? The Dolphins win it? Absolutely, but it's gonna be really difficult for them. All right. Here's the biggest game of the week: Chargers at Giants. What do you got, Go Cubs?
All right. So in this game of losers, no offense.
No, I'm
Um,
taking. I'm
yeah.
taking.
Uh,
I hashtag embrace the suck.
Hashtag embrace the suck.
That's where I'm
Uh,
at right now.
yeah. In this game of suckiness, I feel like, God, I don't know.
Do you want me to go first?
No, I know who I'm choosing. I just don't know how to justify it. I have the Chargers.
Yeah, you're going with the Chargers.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, I look. This is a hard one for me too, and the only way that I could say right now is that the Giants' defense has in the past few weeks played well, really well, and that they are at home, and those are my two reasons why the Giants are going to win.
All
Uh,
right.
and with the Chargers, I just think that they just give up. They've given up so much, so many leads at this point. I don't know how they're gonna go to the East Coast and end up having it all come together. That's just very difficult for me to see that happening.
Yeah.
But it's close, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll split on that one. Moving on, the Niners at the Colts, and another one that's not really that exciting. 1-7 combined records between these two
Yeah.
teams. But I don't know. Interesting game ahead. What do you think is gonna happen, Go Cubs?
You know what? I think the Colts are bad enough to where this will give the 49ers their first win.
Yeah, damn right they will. I'm confident about this one.
Yeah.
I think the 49ers are gonna win because they have played very close with every single one of their opponents at this point, the 49ers.
Yeah.
The Colts, they're kind of a mess in a lot of different ways. So I'm going with the Niners. I feel pretty good about that. That's the first double pick for the Niners this season. Feel good about yourselves, San Francisco. All right, Bills at Bengals. Bills coming off one of their biggest wins in a while, taking down the NFC champions. And I don't know. I think that the Bills have the edge here, but the Bengals started to look good on offense. Their defense has played pretty well as well. What do you think, Gocubs?
I think if the Bengals had a better start to the season and not just did what they did their last two games, like if their first two games went better than they did, I think I'd be choosing the Bengals here. But the fact that the Bills just beat the Falcons, almost beat the Panthers a couple weeks ago, like they've got something there that interests me a lot. So I'm going to go with the Bills.
I'm going with the Bills as well. I think they have the better defense overall. I think that Tyrod Taylor will make enough plays. It is in Cincinnati. That's going to be kind of difficult for them, but we'll see if the Bengals can pull it off. But I think the Bills have the edge there. All right, Jets at Browns. An intriguing game, I think, because I thought this would be the winless battle, but apparently not. You have one winless team, the Browns, and you have the Jets, who are now 2-2, are on a winning streak now. What the fuck is life? And the Jets, the Jets are heading to Cleveland. It's going to be a road game for them. Their first road game in their winning streak, of course. So, what do you think is going to happen with there?
All right, so hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
The Jets.
Yes.
Kind of a strange mascot, right?
Say again?
Kind of a strange mascot, right?
Oh, for sure, yes.
Like it's just a plane.
Yes.
They're going to take that plane.
Okay.
And they're going to fly to Cleveland.
Yes.
And then they're going to win.
You know what, Gocubs, that has to be your best analogy to date. I mean, I think going back every single podcast that we've ever done, best analogy for sure. All right.
Are you sure it's not that Nick is the Shadow the Hedgehog of contestants?
No, I no that is nothing compared to that. That was just brilliant. Brilliant.
I just say counts as an analogy.
That was a brilliant use of words by Gocubs just now. Anyways, I have the Jets as well, and this is not something I'm proud of picking because I don't want. I guess I still have not decided whether or not I want the Jets to win, but It's just that they've looked more competent than the Giants lately, and that I think will probably be enough to beat the Browns. So there you go. Now we have very intriguing battle between the Panthers and the Lions. It is a battle. It's a cat bowl a little bit, a little cat bowl action.
Almost unofficial cat bowl.
Unofficial cat bowl a little bit. Between the Panthers and the Lions.
Blue cat bowl.
Yes, it is the NFC cat bowl, of course.
Yes.
And this is a team that you have one team that has a really good defense, and their offense kind of starting to have a little bit of an identity. Where you have the Lions, who has a really good offense, and their defense is starting to have an identity. So two almost complete teams going up against each other should be one of the great games of the week. What do you think?
Yeah, I really hope I get this game, honestly.
You might. You might. What? You might. Yeah. There's a good chance.
Yeah, because they're two teams that I've come to enjoy a lot the past couple of years. Surprisingly, with the Lions, I didn't expect me to do that as a Bears fan, but I think that this season, the Lions have just a slight edge over the Panthers, just because of how close Panthers games have been. Even when they win, I think that the Lions have a slight upper hand, so I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions because just for the fact that the Lions have just shown me in recent weeks at how great of a team they are against really good teams. The
Mhm.
Panthers, yes, they just beat the Patriots, but they went against a defense that has been among the worst that we've seen this season. Um, and I would like to see what the Panthers offense could do against a Lions defense that is up and coming. So there's that. Ravens at Raiders. Raiders are definitely going to be without Derek Carr this week. EJ Manuel gets to start. EJ played pretty okay in his few steps that he got, but now he has to play a full game against a really good Ravens defense. What do you think, Go Cubs?
Uh, I mean, the Ravens are trash this year. This is no other way. This is no other way around it.
Yeah,
Uh, so I think even without Derek Carr, the Raiders have what it takes to beat the Ravens here.
yeah. I have the Raiders too. It's at home. Last time they were at home, they completely dominated their opponent, the Jets, of course.
Yeah,
And there's kind of reason to believe that the Ravens are a little bit worse than the Jets this year. Oh boy, did I just say that?
yeah, it's weird.
Um, the Raiders, I think get the win. EJ Manuel, I'll make a bold prediction. EJ Manuel throws for four touchdowns and only one interception in this game.
All right.
If we can remember, do we remember our bold predictions last weekend? Because I
Mine had something to do with points, but I didn't care to pay attention to actually what it was. So
yeah, me either. I gotta go back. All right,
I don't really care that
we
much.
may or may not be right about something. Who knows? All right.
I fucking told you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. Seahawks at the Rams on CBS should be one of another really good game of this week, and it's going to be an offensive, really strong offense against a really strong defense. And the Rams defense still trying to find its identity. The Seahawks offense, they're starting to get their mojo going. What do you think, Go Cubs?
All right, so I don't know if I'm allowed to do this one because the Rams have a better record right now.
If
Is Rams beating the Seahawks a team chaos pick?
At this point, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Mainly because my only argument would be is that the Rams have looked like the better team through the first 4 weeks than the Seahawks have. The Seahawks have kind of looked messy. And I feel like overall, I mean, and plus the Rams in recent years have had the Seahawks numbers a lot. That's how I feel. Oh, and Go Cubs is cutting in and out again. Uh-oh.
Hello?
Hello, there you are.
Hello. Okay. I'll still have the Rams over the Seahawks.
Yeah, I have the Rams over the Seahawks as well. Yeah, it's not a team chaos pick, but it would be very fascinating to see the Rams beat the Seahawks, go to 4-1, and I think at that point really should be considered one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
It'll be very fun to see. All right, Packers at the boys. It is a rematch.
Boys back in town.
It is a rematch of the
Boys
NFC
back in
Championship game, and
Boys back in town.
they are back in town. For the second week in a row, back in their home stadium. Do you think the Cowboys get their revenge?
Does this count as team chaos if I pick the Cowboys over the Packers?
That's tough. I
can pick a different one.
I would. I mean, you don't really have a lot of chances here left, but
I know.
I would say no because I think it's a close game either way. It's just because
Okay. I'll change one of my old picks then.
Okay. So.
But I'll
go ahead.
You go with this one. We'll finish them, and then I'll say what it is.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to probably go with the Packers here. I think the Cowboys are. Right now the Cowboys still look like a contender right now, but they're definitely not at the level of what they were last year right now. They need to get better. And the Packers defense is just looking actually a lot better than last year starting out, and Aaron Rodgers doing very well as well. So I'm going with the Pack.
Yeah.
Who did you pick? Cowboys or Cowboys?
Cowboys.
You're going with the Cowboys. Okay.
Yeah.
So Cowboys and then the Packers. All right, so what's your team chaos?
All right. I am changing my team. I'm changing a previous pick, and I'm now going to say the Bengals are going to beat the Bills.
The Bengals, and what is your justification for that?
Uh, the offense looks good against the Browns. Maybe this confidence boost and the offensive coordinator, like front office change or whatever, will be enough to help them get the edge over the Bengals or over the Bills rather.
Hmm. Yes, very. I think that's a very good analysis. Who knows what could happen?
Yeah.
With that one. All right, prime
We don't
time.
have many other options.
Yeah. I can understand that though.
Only other one think I would have picked would be Buccaneers over Patriots, but
Right. Chiefs at the Texans. A very interesting game here. And it's 4-0 against 2-2. It's Deshaun Watson going up against a really good defense. Can the Chiefs remain undefeated, Go Cubs?
I believe so. I think the Chiefs are gonna extend to 5-0 over the Texans. As much as I want Watson to do well, the Chiefs are kind of unstoppable right now.
All right. Well, I'll say this.
Oh no.
I
Here it
have
comes.
I have a in recent times the Chiefs kind of had their number in Houston, specifically in the playoffs. But I think that the Texans pull the upset.
All
And
right.
that's why they're my team chaos
Good.
this week. And mostly because I just look. We were talking earlier about fantasy. We'll talk about your fantasy team at the end of the show here. You know, Deshaun Watson, he might have a rough time against that pass rush, and it might cause him, not to have that as great of a performance. But I think what we saw last week with Washington, on Monday Night Football, where they were rushing Alex Smith and really making it hard for that offense to move, I think the Texans will do the same there, and I think the Texans will take advantage of that, especially on injuries on the offensive line that the Chiefs have. And I think Deshaun Watson plays a decent enough game for the Texans to take the upset, and the Chiefs fall to 4-1, and everything resets essentially with the rankings and everything of who is the greatest team in the league right now. So,
Yeah.
in other words, chaos on all levels.
Correct.
So, yeah, but I think it's gonna be a great game, and I was not expecting it to be a great game, but I think because it's Watson starting, and because Alex Smith and the Chiefs have just been playing out of their minds, Kareem Hunt, of course, as well.
Yeah.
All that put together, just that makes it, I think, the best Sunday Night Football game that we've had to this point.
Totally.
Believe it or not. All right. Vikings at Bears on Monday Night Football. Trubisky's debut. How does he do, Go Cubs?
Very bad.
Not a lot of confidence there for the rookie.
I can't have confidence right now. It's the worst receiving core in the fucking league. And it's a rookie quarterback against a very experienced defense.
Yeah.
How could I choose the Bears in this situation?
Yeah, I can't even think of it right now. I think the only way I could see it, Mitchell Trubisky has a debut for the ages, and and they're at home. I mean, I guess there's an opportunity there, but yeah, you're right. Receiving core is bad. It just does not look good right now for the Bears. So I think the Vikings are gonna pull out the victory here.
Yeah.
Big time. So let's see. How many games did we defer on? We deferred on Giants, Chargers, Bengals,
Packers,
and Bills,
Cowboys.
Packers,
Bengals,
Cowboys, and Chiefs
Chiefs
Texans.
Texans. So we deferred on 4.
So we could still have a potential to tie, but a little bit more of a wider opportunity for one of us to pull even with one another, or for well, in terms of points, for a lot of breaking tie actions all around. So very interesting week ahead there. Looking forward to it. All right, before we end this session, of course, we have one last thing that we have to do, and I am filibustering. It is time for Hollywood Stars. Wait, what? No, wait.
Oh.
On. Wait, no. On. Yay! Sorry, the audience was deaf. I had to tell them, you know.
Why did you kill the audience?
What? Alright, anyways.
Alright, this was a really fucking weird week for the Hollywood Stars. We decided to start quarterback Trevor Siemian over Marcus Mariota, which was not a good decision. It was only about a 4 points difference, but Trevor Siemian did not do as well as I thought he might have. Melvin Gordon also just didn't have that great of a game, as the Chargers getting down early in the game forced them to pass a lot more, and he didn't really get a lot of action. The Kareem Hunt, AJ Green, Devontae Parker, newbie, new player Charles Clay, CJ Anderson, all did very well, averaging around 15-ish points each, which is awesome. The Packers defense, of course, slaughtered the Bears. And Justin Tucker didn't do as well as he's known to, as the Eagles just don't get him into field goal range enough or score touchdowns, which is kind of what you need to do in football.
Yep.
Am I still connected?
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, cool. That's surprising. All right, so for next week, and we did win the game and moved to 3-1, and are tied for first place in our current division. For the next week, Melvin Gordon, Kareem Hunt, Charles Clay will all be starting again. The Vikings defense, I drafted them, but this is the first time that they're actually going to play for me. Wide receivers will most likely be Devonta Parker and Ryan Matthews, as Terrell Pryor is on a bye. Jeremy Maclin, I don't really trust that much. And yeah, Melvin Gordon will be getting the start again. CJ Anderson, unfortunately, is on a bye, so he will not be starting. I may or may not replace Justin Tucker as a kicker. We'll see. I hope the Eagles can get into field goal range. I think I'll give them one more week before I grab another kicker.
Yeah.
However,
it's the Ravens, by the way. He said Eagles.
Oh, Ravens, my bad. However, and this still has to go through. So hopefully this does, and no one else decides to do this before me. Due to Mariota's kind of like average-ish performance so far, I've decided to draft or pick up Deshaun Watson. I will find out tomorrow morning if I actually get him or not, but Watson has been doing so well, both just in-game and fantasy points-wise lately, that I'm very excited to see how many points he can actually get me. So Deshaun Watson will hopefully be the new starting quarterback of the Hollywood Stars.
Yeah,
that is it.
That could be great, and I expressed hesitancy to it before, but yeah. I think the more I think about it, why not? Let's see what happens. Like, even though it's Chiefs defense, let's see if they can kick ass.
The final score, by the way, was 105.9 to 93.5.
Solid win overall.
Yes. Although going into Monday night, I was only up by 2 points, which was scary.
Right, but Kareem Hunt absolutely helped you out there.
Yeah, he is one of the best at this point.
Yes.
He is the best at this point, honestly.
Yeah, I still believe. I think that he's still leading the league in rushing. So
he is.
Go figure.
Gurley is second, and Cook is third. Rip.
Oh yeah, Rip Cook. Oh, yeah, I forgot to talk about Dalvin Cook being injured.
All right.
That's
He got
rough.
injured. Gonna be out for the season.
Yeah, rough. Um, yeah, and that probably puts a damper on the Vikings' hopes a little bit, but
Yeah.
uh, you know, the Vikings would probably still beat the Bears though, unfortunately.
Also, I'm this week. The Hollywood Stars will be facing the only team yet to win a game. So if I lose this, I'm gonna cry.
Oh man, I can't. And a small part of me can't wait to get those texts from Gocubs.
Fuck you.
No, well, no, I just like that all of a sudden, like, or at least it would be funny just to see it get close, and you're like, oh no, Chris, Chris, the worst thing's happening right now.
Okay, I also need to talk about Chris and I are both in a league,
Yep.
and he has Kareem Hunt on his team because he has all rookies because he's a fucking weirdo.
Yes.
Uh, and thanks to the Seattle defense, I get ahead by Chris by 12.9 points, which is like quite a bit. But Chris still had Kareem Hunt to play, who is a monster. So with Kareem Hunt on Chris's team in that league and my team in the league that I also needed him to do well, the scoring is a bit different. So Kareem Hunt actually scored 4 more points in my league than in the one that Chris and I are both in. I beat Chris by 8 yards.
0.8
Which is
points.
not the closest fantasy victory I've ever had, but I'm still happy that it happened. I'm sorry.
I get it. I completely understand. It is just.
I'm still so surprised that your team has been doing this well.
Yeah, I'm just I'm just going along with the ride. If I go 2-9 to finish out the season, it's been a good run. It was a fun 2-0 start against teams that I beat 2 teams that are also now at 2-2. Our entire league is pretty much at 2-2, except for 2 teams, one at 4-0, one at 0-4.
Sorry, Dad, if you're listening.
Yeah, Gocubs' dad is 0-4. Rip. Anyways, but yeah, it's been a journey to this point, but I think with Dalvin Cook's injury, and me drafting Wayne Gallman, the end is nigh for me. But but again, nice start 2-week run, and now I will just sit back and enjoy the chaos that is real football. Not you silly fantasy freaks out there.
Okay.
Okay, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I look. I think the fantasy is definitely for many an important part of the experience. It's just not usually my cup of tea, but that's okay. To each its own. But anyways, so that's Hollywood Stars. Hopefully, I mean you're now 2-1.
I'm 2-2.
2-2. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So now you're looking to get out of the 500 hole, and you have a chance against the winless team. So we'll see what happens with that. With that being all said, I think our predictions are locked, and are all of the hopefully all the chaos that has occurred in the last 2 weeks continues to occur this upcoming week.
I really hope so, because this has been so much fun.
It has been quite the experience for sure, and I'm looking forward to many more weeks of just chaos and confusion, and hopefully we keep with some of these these new teams in the forefront of the playoff race. I mean, come on, keep it up, boys. Just keep on doing good work. All right, Rams, Bills, Lions, all you folks.
Keep going.
All right. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Be good to one another. Be kind to one another.
Go have some cheese. Just eat a slice of cheese or something.
And fromage.
Fromage.
And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.